Hey, what's up guys? Cocojobro here. In today's video, I want to give you guys one tip on every killer and how you can improve your gameplay with using all of these killers. So we're going to go through the entire roster. Just going to give you one quick tip. We're just going to do it off the cuff and let's see what happens right here. So the first killer we got right here is the Trapper. With Trapper, I would highly suggest that you place down your traps near the bushes, near loops, or in areas where survivors can't see it. So for instance, like putting it on the middle of the staircases, so when they go up or down, they can't really see it while they're turning their camera. Also too, if they're looping around the loop, say like Killer Shack, maybe you want to put it on the Killer Shack window in that little grass area, or even corral survivors into it so they think they're safe at the pallets, but really they're not. Moving on to Wraith. With Wraith, you definitely want to uncloak behind structures so that even if survivors do hear your bell ringing and they know that you're coming after them, they don't know where exactly you're coming from. So if, for instance, if they're healing behind a wall or something, mainly cloak behind that wall or behind a loop and then swing around and get them. It'll help you to get those cheeky hits and also end your chases a lot faster. With the Hillbilly, you definitely want to learn how to feather your chainsaw. So for instance, once you start your chainsaw rev up, you'll see the little bar at the bottom, and once it hits 100%, then you launch off. So mainly, which I would highly suggest, is learning how to tap. So get it all the way to like 95%, then tap, and when the survivor is directly in front of you, let it rip and then hit 100% and get your insta down. Look down as well while you're doing that so that you don't fly off into, you know, the left or the right. Look down because survivors will try to mess with your camera. So look down, look at the feather your 100%, and then go when you think you got them. With Nurse, you have to adapt to two different play styles. One play style is you blink where you last saw the survivor, and then you blink where you last saw them again with your second. So say for instance you're going around Killer Shack, right? It's a square. You will blink where you last saw them, whereas where they turn the corner, and then you'll blink where you last see them from there. Some survivors will try to double back into you. So what other new nurses will do is they'll see the survivor turn the corner and they'll try to blink and beat them to where they are. So try to adapt to both play styles and learn how the survivors adapt to you. If they're double backing, then blink to where you last saw them and they'll run right into you. If they're not double backing, then try to predict if you feel brave enough. Moving on to Huntress. Huntress is really good at alleyways or when survivors jump through windows. So mainly what you want to do is ready up your hatchet when you turn the corner, and especially like when you're going into Killer Shack, turn that corner and ready up your hatchet so you're ready to throw it and try to predict where they're going to go next. Most of the time when survivors jump through a window or jump over a pallet, that is a easy hit for you to get a Huntress hatchet on them. Michael Myers is really good at sneaking up on people. There's different ways you can play Mikey. There's Scratchmere Mikey, where you stay at tier 1, where you only want to play that in indoor maps like Larry's, Hawkins, Midwich. Also too, when you're stalking people, make sure that you try to get them as much as you can. Get yourself to tier 2 as fast as you can so you're not a slow killer, and then try to keep your stalk at 99. So when you're ready to go, you can let it rip and then start getting your insta down. So try to get that pressure as fast as you can, because he is a very weak killer, but in the right hands he's very strong. Hag is really good. If you can get someone in the basement, it is naturally going to be a GG for that person who is on the hook, because you can place a trap at the bottom of the basement, at the top of the basement, and then you can start spreading your web out around the basement. So then hopefully you can catch the person who's rescuing off guard, injure them, and then possibly down them, and then you get 2 people in the basement, and then it's rinse and repeat. Pretend you're a spider and the survivors are like a fly, and you just want to get them naturally in a web, and you'll start to get those teleports and downs quick and fast. Doctor, if you didn't know, every time that you use your shock, you lose your bloodlust. So if you actually are looping around a pallet or something, then you'll start to gain bloodlust after a moment of time. But if you use your shock, you lose it, and you're still running at, you know, your 150% base speed. You want to shock them prior to pallets. So don't shock them when they're at a pallet, because they'll be able to throw it down. Don't shock them when they're at the window, because they'll still be able to jump through. Shock them prior to them getting to the windows or pallets. Bubba. With Bubba, what you want to do is learn your chainsaw rev and learn to understand how wide your swings are, because you want to loop and curve around. Oh, someone subscribed. You want to learn how to curve around the loops fast. So if you curve it too hard, then you'll hit the wall and you'll do a tantrum for a few seconds, and the survivors can get away. But if you loop it just right, you can catch up to them and you can really get some insta down. So don't overcommit to your chainsaw, but also to learn how to commit to it properly. With Freddy, utilizing the puddles, not at the pallets, but around the loops, is very strong, so that you can slow down your chases and get an easy down. That's how you should use it. If you choose to do the pallet strategy, then place pallets everywhere, but remember which ones, or you don't have to remember, but just know that the survivors are gonna constantly throw down pallets. So maybe running brutal strength, or just maybe mind gaming them and teleporting to a gen that they're running towards, so you can cut them off. You just want them to feel very uncomfortable when they're in the dream state, and knowing that everything is not safe. Pallets are running around loops, so make sure to use your power effectively. With Pig, one of the things that you can do is that when you are looping around a pallet, make sure that you crouch at the pallet, and then the survivors will stand on the opposite of the loop. Charge up your dash, and then go left, and then curve back right really fast. So don't go all the way around the loop, but just fake left and then commit back to the right. You should be able to smack a survivor. If not, put on your traps as fast as you can. Don't worry about saving them for the late game, because if you get gen rushed or if gens fly, then you just are having useless traps in your kit and you can't use them. With Clown, you definitely want to throw where you think the survivors are running towards, or cut them off at a loop wherever they're running at. So for instance, same with Pig, if you're at a pallet, throw at one side and maybe throw to the other, and either way they're going to run into your smoke, and then you should be able to catch up to them. When you're not in chase and you have a full kit of bottles, hold your bottles, change it to yellow, and then use that so you can get a speed boost to get across the map faster. With Spirit, a lot of times survivors will maybe stand at a pallet, or they'll run one way and then they'll stop and walk another way. Make sure to listen to their grunts of pain. Make sure to try to listen to their feet as they're running on certain maps. They're louder, like the swamp, you'll hear the little mud puddle sound if they're running through grass. It's not always about trying to teleport or phase and land right on top of them. If you get close to them, then you're learning how to listen for survivors. With Legion, you definitely want to try to punish the buddy system when survivors are all together. Utilizing your Feral Frenzy in stabbing one and going to another and another channels this domino effect, where not only do they have to mend, but now they have to heal, and that actually slows down the whole gen repairing process, because now they're spending time healing. If they don't heal, then they're one shot and they're injured and they're grunting and their blood is all over the place, and you can follow them easily. The same goes for Plague. Try to infect everyone that you can. Plague is like a super soaker Huntress, where she has a stream of vomit, but also too, if the survivors do not cleanse themselves, then you get these pools of devotion that let you use like a super soaker stream, and you can damage multiple people very fast. So get people injured, puke on the pallets, puke on the gens, because those are the things that they'll utilize the most. And then if someone is on a hook and they're not infected, then just puke on them while they're on the hook, because then whoever rescues them has to get them, and now you have two people that are sick. Same thing with Mikey, Ghostface. You want to 99 your stocks, mainly if someone is looping you really well, just stalk them and get them to 99 and let them go. Go for the weaker people, because what will happen is you can get those weaker people faster, get them on a hook, and then the person who's really good at looping, you can one-shot them once you get them to 100%, since they're 99 on the stock. So try to get used to that. Demogorgon, using your portals is not the priority. It's learning how to shred. If you learn how to shred properly, meaning you lunge really far, just like Huntress, you want to get people down funnels, or you want to get them when they're going for windows. Your shred is actually very fast. You jump really far. So survivors who look like they're already on the other side of the window, let's just say their hand when they vault is still on the window and their legs and their butt is on the other side, you could still get them with a shred. So don't be afraid to try to jump in and try to shred and get those hits. When the game dies down, then put down your portals, set things up, and place your portals at the top of the basement, not in the basement, because by the time you teleport, they're already going to be running up. With Oni, you want to go as fast as you can with getting the first hit. Once you get the first hit, you could start absorbing blood. His whole power revolves around the blood. So if you don't get his blood, pumping, if you don't get people leaving trails, or if you don't get your M1 attacks going, then you're not going to be an effective killer. Also, too, when you are in Demon Dash form, learn how to run fast. Utilize your mouse and utilize your movements to try to curve faster and harder to get around certain loops. Moving on to Death Slinger. With Death Slinger, mainly what you want to do is utilize your low terror radius to sneak up on survivors. You are a very tall dude, so try to break line of sight with survivors as you sneak up on them. Maybe there's a tree or a wall that you can sneak up. His low terror radius can honestly help you out, and then it's just all up to you how you're good at aiming down the sight. Are you an FPS shooter, or if you're not, and just get used to that. One more thing too is when you're aiming at a survivor that's running left or right, shoot in front of them, because the harpoon takes a little bit of time to actually travel to hit them. With Pyramid Head, you want to place down your trails of torment near loops, in between the pallets, because people will utilize your pallets, windows, etc., and you want to try to get them to step on your trails. Most of the time, survivors are scared to even touch it. They feel like it's the floor is lava, and they'll ruin their looping to just not get touched. So if they do touch it, awesome, you can get them in the cage and just move on to the next person to chase. If they don't touch it, they mess up their loops, and that should help you out as well. With Blight, mainly what you want to utilize him is kind of like a Billy to get around the map really fast. Don't use your power on T and L walls or loops that don't give you a good angle. You can try to be cheeky if you get better at him and hit a wall, then hit another wall, but usually by the time you're taking to go around this whole wall so you can finally get an angle on someone, the survivors are already getting the advantage on you. So don't utilize your power at bad loops, but utilize it when survivors are in the open, so that you can get to them faster and end those chases. With the twins, a lot of times people get so stuck on the slugging meta, which is a good strategy for them. You injure someone with Victor, they go down, then you go over to the next person and you get on their back, or if they're injured, you go down. Once the teams are all injured, you can start to really just leave everyone on the ground. It gets really addicting just jumping and attacking them. But the main thing you want to do is get someone down and then get Victor on someone else's back, pick up the other person. Now you have someone that's injured, someone gets the unhook. Now you have two people that are injured and one person that came from the unhook. Then you can get the person down. It's just a domino effect, so try to keep up the pressure with the twins as fast as you can. With Trickster, he will be getting a buff where you only need to throw your knives for 6 times of successful hits. There's hit markers with the shards and the shatters. So mainly with him is try to get really good with your knives. You can end chases a lot quicker and know when to use your main event. So mainly on the 5th knife, what you want to do is hit that 5th knife and then use your main event, because the 6th knife will get them injured, and then while they're running you can still do your super fast throws and get them down. If you're watching this video before the buff comes out, then same thing. just get better at your knife throwing. Don't be afraid to M1 too as well. But if you have a survivor in the open, you can nail them with the knives and then keep aiming them. But if they go around a corner, then don't worry about it. Don't waste your time. Just keep on the pressure as fast as you can. And then with Nemesis, what you want to do is definitely go for the safe M1s. Sometimes using his tentacle strike is not the best strategy. It's only like for Huntress or like Pyramid Head. If you're gonna use the Rites of Judgment, or if you're gonna use that shockwave or your tentacle, make sure that they're on the pallet or they're going through a window. Other than that, they can really mess with you and you're wasting more time than just simply M1ing them. Also too, if you can get them injured and you're feeling confident, then try to corral them with your zombies and mess up their loops and get those safe chases down, those M1s down as well. So I hope that this really helped you guys. Thank you again so much for watching, and make sure to like this video if you got something really good out of it. Put down in the comment section below if you guys have any more suggestions, and be on the lookout for some further tips and tricks videos. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everyone.